Hello everyone, it's Natasa from Treasure Books. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to make easy DIY envelope books. These are great for organizing anything from journal ephemera to documents, photos, memories, bills to pay, stickers, receipts, and you name it. You can make any size envelope book from small to large. You can have side opening envelopes or top opening envelopes. You can have the flat flap, you can have the pointy flap, any type of you can even do this project with just sheets of paper. It doesn't have to be envelopes. I will also teach you how you can have your books open all the way like this, so you can see completely flat, or this way where the construction stays in book form, which means basically that it doesn't open all the way. Either way you make them, your envelope books will lay flat when opened, which of course is a huge bonus. All right, let's get started. For the best kind of a look for this project, you want all of your envelopes to be the same. So for example, if you choose this to be your envelope, then you want to have 6 or 8 of exactly the same envelopes. Next thing you're going to need is a piece of paper. And now you're going to see exactly how easy it is to make this project. I'm going to take all the mystery away, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Basically, what's going to happen with your piece of paper is we're going to make an accordion like this. We're going to do some folding, and then your envelopes are going to be glued into the grooves like so. All right, and that's what creates your book. So straight away you can see how easy this is. But of course, there are little nitty-gritty things you need to know in order to make your project successful. So we will come back to the kinds of paper that you need to use. Next thing you need is something to construct your cover. So I like to use chipboard, very thick kind of cardstock for my covers. And I use things that I take off of paper pads and stuff like that. So I keep all of that thick cardboard stuff. Otherwise, if you don't have something like this, obviously you can use cereal boxes, old book covers, and so on. All right. By the way, did I mention that you don't have to use envelopes? You can just use single sheets of paper. This is also a good way. This method that I'm about to show you is a good way of binding single sheets of paper, especially if you have beautiful artworks that you want to have in one book, but you're not sure how to bind them. If it's like a single sheet, then you can use this method. All right. Let's get started. So I'm going to choose my envelopes, and I also want to mention that perhaps you could use an array of different envelopes throughout your book, even though it looks quite nice and uniform when you have all the same envelopes. So now I'm kind of stuck between, I'm not sure, do I want to use this one? Do I want to use this one? I think I'm going to go with this one. I have a healthy little stack of these envelopes here, and what I have found for this project is the sweet spot is 6 to 8 envelopes. Having said that, you can make a book with more envelopes. All right, so envelopes chosen. Next thing we need, paper. All right, here comes the nitty-gritty stuff, and this is very, very important because if you get this wrong, everything is out of whack. First things first, your paper needs to be exactly the same height, preferably, as your envelopes. However, it doesn't have to be. As you can see in this project, I don't know if you can see, this is a large manila envelope, and I did not have paper that's large. This is larger than 12 by 12 paper. So the accordion paper that I used is actually shorter than my envelopes. And you can kind of see it here from the sides. You can see how the envelopes extend from the paper, whereas in these other projects that I have, the paper that I've chosen is exactly the same height as the envelopes. Okay, next important point. This is copy paper 80 GSM. I'm not sure if it's different paper weights in other parts of the world. I think there is. But this is very kind of flimsy, thin paper, and it will do the job, but not greatly. This here is scrapbook paper, but it's quite heavy. I'm not sure what weight of paper this is. This is not optimal. Heavy paper like this, not optimal for this project, because all of your folding can very easily get out of whack. So you can see this. All the folds need to be at the same level in order to achieve a beautiful finished product. And I find if you fold in cardstock, it's very easy to get out of whack. So I kind of found a sweet spot in between the very thin paper and the very thick paper. And that's the best way that I can explain this. The next important point here to make is that the more folds you have, and hence the more envelopes you want to fit in, the more chance for error. And I found out the hard way. I'm telling you all of this. It's very important to know, because you're going to start folding your paper, because how hard can it be, right? Just score the paper and fold and you get it right. And then what you find, you spend hours and all of your folds are completely and ridiculously out of whack, and nothing looks good. Okay, and that's why I'm mentioning all of these things in advance, because now we have to go and choose the paper. I'm going to use this for my accordion. And the first thing I'm going to do is mark where I need to cut it, because I want the paper to be the same height as the envelope. But before I cut it, I just want to check the grain of the paper. You will find when you're folding the paper to find the paper grain, it folds easier one way. And that's the way you want to be doing your accordion folding. So my paper folds easier this way, so I'm going to cut it. When I do my accordion, it's going to be this way. So I'm going to trim it down to the same size as the envelopes. Next thing we're going to do is the accordion. There are two ways of making the accordion or folding the paper. Number one is using the scoreboard, and I found that using the scoreboard, even though you think everything is precise and perfect, I found that there's more room for error. And I'm going to show you with this here. So first of all, I'm going to leave myself a gap here. I'm not going to start folding straight away. I'm giving myself 2 inches away from the edge. You can see it here. I'm leaving this free because that's going to have to be glued on the cover. All right, so you don't want to start your folding straight right from the beginning. So there we have 2 inches left on the side. And now you think, well, how hard can it be? I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. And it just makes sense that everything should be perfect. I moved my paper because this groove makes my paper rip. Anyway, so let's just keep scoring. Okay, so if you have 8 envelopes that you want to fit into your fit it into your book. If you want to fit 8 envelopes, then you need 16 score lines. Okay, now let's fold. I'm going to try and make this perfect. It might work sometimes. I can already see a discrepancy. Why is that? You see that? They need to be aligned. I'm going to finish the whole thing and then we'll look at the final result. All right, let's see what we have. Well, we have a whole lot of crazy stuff happening. So that's what happens when you score all at once and then you attempt to fold and then you get this, which is unacceptable, my friends, because what's going to happen then is all of your envelopes are exactly the same. Some are going to be here, some are going to be sticking up here, some are going to be crooked this way and that way, and the book is just not perfect. This kind of thing is going to work if you have like all different types of envelopes and you make like a junk journaly kind of style where you have like handmade envelopes in different sizes, and then who cares about the accordion? All right, now I'm going to show you the proper way of making the accordion. You just do it freehand. All right, so freehand folding, you kind of have to be precise here. So you want to fold it in half. Now we're going to take one free edge and fold it up to the very top. So you really want to align those edges. Excellent. Flip it around and repeat. You are going to get a perfect accordion fold with this. You're absolutely going to love this system of folding. However, there is one downfall to this. Downside, I think I was going to say, to this, and I'm going to tell you in a moment. All right, now we want to make all mountain folds. So I'm just going to fold this the other way. So all of the folds are sticking up. Excellent. All right, now you take the first mountain, the first fold that's sticking up, and you fold it in half so you align it with the top of your page. Okay, perfect. Next, we're going to grab the next mountain and we're going to align it again with the top of the page. All right, next, repeat. Here's what we have so far. And now I have to bring this one again up to the top. And here it is. You can see those perfect, absolutely perfect folds there. And so far what we have is, you can see 3 mountains. That means I can only fit 3 envelopes. So that means I have to keep going, right? I have to keep folding because I need more than 3 envelopes. So again, we're going to repeat what I've done before. And I'm going to make all of my folds into mountains. So they all have to be facing up. All right, so because I want to have one longer side, which I'm going to need for constructing my book, I'm going to leave this first one alone. And I'm going to start folding here. So I grab my little mountain and I fold it to this crease. And now I'm repeating all the way down. I grab my next mountain and I fold it again to this crease. This here, I'm pretending right now that it doesn't exist. I'm not doing any folding there. I'm just folding to here. Just keep going until the end. All right, let's check out what we have. You know what we have, my friends? We have absolute perfection. Amen. Take a look at that. All right, however, like I said before, there's a downside to doing the perfect folds, which is, of course, we only have 6 peaks. 6 envelopes can fit in here. And the downside of this is if we were to keep folding, which by the way, it will be very difficult to keep folding this. If I was to make everything into a mountain again, I would have to try and fold this. You know, it would be very, very difficult. But even if we could do it, if it was quite easy to keep going, we can't go from 6 folds to 8. We have to go to 12. It kind of keeps doubling up. So that kind of sucks. But I think the best thing to do is just to stick with 6 envelopes. But what if, let's say, you want to do 8 envelopes, or you want to do 10 envelopes, I don't know. Okay, how are you going to make your folds even? Well, this is how I did it. Let me tell you something. This was a lot of trial and error and frustration on my part. Maybe there is an expert out there who can solve the mystery of the accordion fold. Please feel free to let us know in the comment section if that's the case. First thing I'm doing is, all right, here we go. So I've cut my paper down to the height of my envelopes that I'm going to use. Now, I need to do my 16 creases in order to get 8 mountains for my envelopes. All right. So the way that I get a somewhat even and perfect accordion using the scoreboard is to do it bit by bit. So instead of going in and scoring at 1/2 inch all the way down 16 times, I choose to do it one by one, or maybe we can do it mountain by mountain. I hope I'm making sense. All right, so now I'm going to align my first fold and I'm going to make next 2 creases. So we're going to go 1/2 inch, right? Because why not? And just as before, I am making that mountain and I'm going to join the mountain with the other mountain. So we're skipping this middle one. All right, so we have excellency happening so far. Aligning, and we're going to do the next 2 creases. Okay, I'm going to turn it around. And now I'm going to grab this fold. I might actually fold it first. And I'm taking that and manually going up to that edge. Okay, perfect. And now just keep repeating. The main point to remember is that if your creases are out of whack, your envelopes will be out of whack. If you want to know how to do something, I'm going to show you how to do it properly, and then you can make your own decisions as to whether you want to stick to these ridiculous rules. All right, let's have some fun, please. By the way, if you want to be fitting in more than 8 envelopes, if you want to do, I don't know, 30 envelopes, then you need to extend your paper. You can just put 2 pieces of paper together and, you know, extend and then do the creasing. Okay, now we're going to do the envelopes. So I have 8 mountains and I have 8 envelopes, and the envelopes are going to be glued on the inside here. I do this part with double-sided tape and glue. Here is my first mountain, and I'm going to apply double-sided tape onto this side. Double-sided tape applied. I'm going to remove the top. And now if you were to put your envelope down straight away, it might not go on, you know, perfectly, which is why, and then you can't move it, which is why I like to go in with glue on top of the double-sided tape. And that gives me slip to kind of move the envelope into perfect position rather than it being stuck down straight away. All right. I don't know if you can see here the crease. I'm just simply aligning the envelope with the crease and the top and bottom. I'm going to do it first and then I'll tell you what I've done. So that's in place. I'm going to check the top. It basically has to be straight. All right, so it's aligned at top and bottom, and you can easily double check. I think the first envelope is the most important to get right, and you can turn it around. Nothing is sticking out. Everything is perfect. A little bit sticking outage up there, but there is a little bit of room for error, so that's fine. And then press it down. Okay, now the next mountain is here, and now I'm going to repeat. So at this stage, if you want, you can apply, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply all of my double-sided tape onto all of the mountains. So only these sides here is where I'm going to apply double-sided tape. Honestly, you might want to just use glue and skip the whole double-sided tape. The glue does take some time to dry, and you don't want your envelopes to be moving as you're working, which is why I use the double-sided tape. All right, perfect. And now we're going to go in one by one. I'm just going to talk through one more, and then I will speed up the rest. So remove the double-sided tape backing and add the glue. Next, take your envelope and align with the previous envelope, and then you can, before pressing down, you can double check. Are the envelopes aligned, top and bottom? Yes, they are. Excellent. And then just keep going. I'm going to speed this up. And next. Next. That's going really well. You can see how they're all aligning beautifully. And next. Lovely. And nearly done. How fabulous. All right, lucky last. Okay, let's see what we have, shall we? We have perfection is what we have. All right, that's it. That's done. That is done. Now, by the way, that's what it looks like from the top, in case if you want to, I don't know, have a look. All right, next what we're going to do is make a cover. So as I said, I'm using this chipboard that I have, and basically what I need is a cover that's slightly larger than my envelopes, I need 2 panels. So I'm going to mark myself slightly larger than the envelopes, and then also down here. And now I'm simply going to cut it down. I have a new thing. I purchased this ruler. This is quilt making, I think, for fabrics and stuff, but I like the fact that I can use my whole hand to hold the thing down. All these years when I've been cutting down, I just use my ruler and just cut down. But now that I have this, I shall be using it and cut away. All right, that's that. Now I need to chop the bottom off, chop it away. Okay, so that's one panel, and now I need another one of these. So I'm going to use this. Like, instead of marking where I need to cut, I'm just going to use this. And off I go. Okay, that's that. And now the bottom. Easy. So basically you just need 2 panels, one for the front, one for the back. And I'm just going to double check how it's going to look. Excellent. Now we need to cover this, the panels. I'm just going to write myself a note. That's front, that's back panel. Not that it matters, but next, choose your fabric or your scrapbook paper, whatever you want to use to cover this. You can cover it in newspaper, you can cover it in book pages, totally up to you. I'm going to go with this scrapbook paper. And I need a piece of paper that's quite larger than my panel. So I'm just going to trim down 2 pieces. Okay, here are my 2 pieces, and I'm gonna do the front cover first. So I need to apply glue all over this. Glue down somewhere in the middle. Press down. Now we're going to miter the corners, and you want to leave a little bit of space from the edge of the cardstock, because if you want to have like nice perfect corners, this is how you do it. You leave a little bit of space, make some folds. And now double-sided tape or glue. We're going to do opposing sides first. If you're having trouble lifting the double-sided tape, then use a little tool to help you. All right, so that's one. Wrap the edge. Repeat on the other side. Wrap the edge. Lovely. Now, again, apply the double-sided tape onto the 2 sides that are left. And now I'm going to show you how to achieve a perfectly beautiful corner. So you have something that looks like this. You're going to press it down. You can use your nail, or you can use a bone folder. Press it down just like so. Or you can press it in like so. All right, either way, whatever works for you. If you press it down, then see this point here, just fold it in slightly, just like so. These are just minor details, you know. All right, remove the double-sided tape backing and fold your piece down. Okay, look at those corners, nice and neat. And now on this side, we can do it the other way. You can just press the corner in. Let's have a look. Perfect. All right, remove and done. All right, that's the front panel done. And now repeat for the back panel. And here we have it, front and back panels. Hello, baby. It's looking good. It's looking mighty fine. Okay, now, at this stage, you decide if you want this kind of look where the envelopes are stuck in this position, so they can't kind of, you know, move out like this or like this. Okay, do you want it to be able to be open all the way, or do you want it to be stuck together like this? So what's keeping it stuck is a little bit of something. I used ribbon, you can use paper, you can use fabric, whatever. Let's say you decide you want your envelopes to open up this way. In that case, you're going to skip the next step that we're going to do, and you're going to go straight onto gluing these panels onto your front and back board. Okay, and then you will have this kind of thing happening, and that's what that looks like from the other side. But if you want to contain them, then we're going to do this next step. So again, remember, if you want them to be able to open up, you simply just skip adding the ribbon, which is what I'm about to do. So I'm going to go in with ribbon. I'm thinking this red and gold is going to look quite nice with this cover. So freedom of expression, do you want to have like 8 ribbons going down, or do you just want to have 2, one at the top, one at the bottom, or 3, one in the middle, one at the top, or 4? Totally up to you. I'm going to go with 4 little pieces of ribbon, and I'm just going to eyeball here where I'm going to stick it down, kind of evenly spaced but eyeballed at the same time. Now I need 4 little pieces of ribbon, give myself a little bit of extra, and I'm going to glue the ribbon onto this side first, perhaps with the aid of double-sided tape. And just because I like to overdo things, I'm going to apply a little bit of glue on there, why not? Okay, now we're just going to pop down the ribbon and try and have it kind of in a straight line and evenly spaced. Nothing is permanent at this point. If you don't like the spacing, you can simply just take the ribbon off and put it where you like it. All right, I might add a little bit of extra double-sided tape here, just so when I turn it around, it doesn't glue to my desk. And now we need to do the same on the other side, but here you decide how much ribbon how much give do you want to give yourself. I personally like it to be snug, but not too tight. I don't want this, but I want like some snugness, if that makes sense. I'll turn to the other side, and again you need your double-sided tape, and now off we go. Quite nice. I just want to make sure that I have an even amount of ribbon. I don't want to have one loop that's sticking out here and then one that's really tight. So that's kind of what I'm checking at this point. This, again, minor details here, but I think that's going to look good. I just want to, before I glue everything down, I want to make sure that I'm happy. What do we think? See that? Oh yes, I like it. Okay, now that we are happy, we go to the next step. So if you don't want to be applying the ribbon, this is the step where you join back in. So let's start with gluing our envelopes to the front panel first. I've already got some double-sided tape on there. I'm going to apply glue all over this panel, including the very edges over here, but not so much glue that the glue is going to seep out. Glue applied. Okay, now I like to grab the front cover, the front panel, and glue it from top down, checking where I'm gluing, rather than trying to maneuver this onto the cover. Okay, so here we go. And because we've applied glue over the double-sided tape, we have time to maneuver things into place. I'm just going to check from this side. How's that looking? I can see that I left too much space here and not enough space here, so I'm going to move it up a little bit. Still a bit more space. It doesn't matter. All right, I'm happy with the front cover, and now we shall repeat on the back cover. At this stage, you can amend the ribbons as well if you have applied the ribbons. If you find that one is too loose or too tight, bring in the double-sided tape. Don't do the whole project with just the double-sided tape. Double-sided tape does not work long term. It loses stickiness. Okay, now I'm going to add my back cover. I just want to make sure that I'm putting it on the right way. So that's my front and this is my back, and I'm going to go again from above and I'm aligning it with the edge of the front cover, and then I can maneuver it into place. And now have a look. That's looking good from the front. Everything looks aligned, and now I'm just gonna open it up and press down. We're nearly done. Okay, here we go. Book. A lovely loveliness is getting there. Now all that's left to do, of course, is to cover this, and you can go in with anything really. You can go in with any scrapbook paper. It doesn't have to be the exact same. But I found for this project that for all of my covers, I have used the exact same paper on the inside You can see the outside paper and the inside paper. Same for this one here, the outside paper and the inside paper. So it kind of looks like one. I don't know why I did it, I just did it. So here I'm going to first trim the paper down to size, kind of checking. I want to leave a little bit of space there and just mark where I need to cut my paper. And here we go. I've cut down 2 panels and I have one for the front and one for the back. And you simply glue it down. I'm just gonna ink the edges slightly and apply that glue. Make sure you get all the way to the edges and cover your panel. Look at that. Look at the absolute perfection. And repeat on the back. Loveliness. Would you look at that? I have to tell you something. I've never done this before. I've done it, what's today? Thursday. Filming day is Thursday. I made first one of these on Tuesday. And there was a whole lot of frustration involved with the accordion stuff, you know? But I worked it out, and sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to kind of explain it without confusing. So I hope that wasn't confusing. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is finish this by applying a book plate, and then we'll discuss some other things. All right, so these things that I have here, these cork, they're not actual book plates. They came from some type of a manufacturing process. I got them from a rescue center, resource rescue center. And you can, I don't know, did I say, I mean, you can do anything on the front of your envelope books. Just a little sticker will do. I used my alphabet stamp and stamped the documents on this one. So really, you can do anything. But what do I want to do? That does not look good. And oftentimes when something gets lost on a cover like that, adding a little bit of a border makes it much better. So I might just go with what I've done previously. All right, let's see how's this looking so far. Not bad. I'm just going to play around with this, and I don't know if I'm liking this actually. So I'm going to work backwards, and what do I want this book to say at the front? I'm thinking all sorts of things, like we have documents, we have current, which means it could be anything. It could be a current journal I'm working on, and I have all of my ephemera in here. So I want this one to say, let's say, memories. So I'm going to stamp out memories. I'm going to do this off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss some extra little details. I have this sticker, and I've hoarded this sheet of stickers for such a long time. I don't know where I got it from, and I think this looks quite interesting on there. But I don't want to stamp directly onto a sticker in case I get it wrong and it doesn't fit. Like you can see here, documents, when I did, it's quite large, and then I had to make it smaller. So I go and stamp on something, some other piece of cardstock. Here are my alphabet stamps that I have in an old VHS case. That's how I store my little alphabet stamps. But I do need to rethink this system. Okay, so that's not too bad. Some of the letters are too close together and, you know, a little bit wonky. But when you look at it as a whole rather than letter by letter, I think it works. I think it's fine. So I'm just going to rub this out. Okay, and now, so instead of stamping directly onto my thing here and getting it wrong, I can now just simply glue this onto that. Will it fit? All right, I shall glue it down. And now, this needs some sort of a backing. Oh, but it's stuck. Completely crooked. Will it look good on black? No. Maybe I can use the back of this paper. That looks really nice. It just needs one final touch. Alright, it's not as fabulous as I expected, but I added 2 little birds there. And finally, down it goes. And I will call this one complete. It's looking quite nice. And professional looking. It would be nice if I had some beautiful envelopes, perhaps not these generic white, you know, with the blue inside, but it is what it is. I didn't really have that many envelopes to choose from. But the purpose of today's video was to show you how to make the envelope books, and I believe I have achieved that. So let me just show you while we're here. Just let me give you a few little extra details. Now this one here, that's my book plate that I have on the top there. I used side loading envelopes. These craft, they kind of like have a little bit of gold in them, which is not coming through in the video. And there's 6 envelopes in this one. It's quite fun, the fact that, you know, that can happen. I haven't put anything in them yet. Too busy trying to work out how to actually make this project and how to have this perfect construction and perfect finish. All right, for this one here, I used these beautiful craft envelopes, but I actually wanted to beautify each envelope first. And so I added some scrapbook paper, you know, some just on the flap here, and then others on the flap and the bottom. And the reason why I did that is because I only had 6 of these envelopes, and 2 of them were a little bit ruined. One had a smudge and the other one had this. You can see it on the inside. And I felt like, oh, I need to cover that, but I can't just cover 2 envelopes and leave the rest just craft paper. So I played around with that, and actually it looks really quite nice. And I really love both constructions. I love the ones that can open flat, quite interesting, but I really like them also contained like this, and I love the look of this ribbon, and I think they look different and beautiful. Now this one here, I used the manila envelopes, and when I used these envelopes, I decided I wanted to try the large manila envelopes. And on this one, I added a pocket on the back of each envelope. And the reason why I did that is because these metal bits left a mark on all of the envelopes. Like they're all, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't really matter. They all had this like a rusty almost mark, and I felt like I need to cover that. So I went ahead and created extra space, because why not, you know? And the way that I envisioned using this kind of thing is, I don't know, for something like this, you have to kind of undo this to open to get inside. So this kind of thing I would perhaps use for memories, perhaps the storage of photos. For this kind of thing here, where the access is fairly easy, you can just go in and get your stuff, I would use this for current projects, which I've got current. So let's say I'm making a journal and it has a theme, and I can have all of the stuff that I want to use for that journal that I'm currently working on in my companion over here. I can have my favorite stickers, let's say, or all of my black and gold stuff, because I love the combination of black and gold. So that kind of thing. And then, of course, this large one. Because I didn't have large enough paper to cover the panels, this is much larger than 12 inches. I used this fabric that I have, that I get my stuff secondhand. I get my stuff from Facebook Marketplace. This my dad happened to give me, and I think this is used in upholstery, like making couches and things. This is that piece that goes on below the cushion of the couch. So you use what you have. I cut it down to size, and then I wrapped the panels in exactly the same way as I've shown you today. I love how it looks. It looks very professional, store-bought. I do have to go over it with a lint roller, but yeah, anyway. And then, of course, I used the large manila envelopes, and I'm thinking maybe documents, maybe birth certificate, and all the other documents, which I can't think of any documents right now because my mind is blank. I've been at this for way too long, and I love this. I just love the fact that it does this. And for this one, I would leave this type of a construction rather than containing it in a book, because I don't know how many documents I'm going to be putting in here. I might have a whole lot of documents to be put in. These envelopes might get real chunky, you know? So there we have it. I had plenty of fun, and let me just point out, if you have a closer look, there is absolutely no perfection going on here, because when we go to this side, everything is out of whack. What happened? Who knows what happened? Who knows? You make one little mistake over here, everything else is out of whack. And when that happens, you just keep on going, and you make the thing anyway. And if you don't point it out, nobody will know. Nobody will know. Can you tell? No, you can't tell. When I put it down, can you tell? Can you tell? No. When I open it, can you tell? No. When I do this, can you tell? No, exactly. So don't stress too much. How are you feeling? Are you excited about making this, or are you frustrated? If you're frustrated, then most likely you're not here at this point. So I assume you're not frustrated, and I assume you plan on making this, or you've already made it along with me. That would be fun. Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, let me know also which one of these is your favorite. Any other ideas that pop in your mind, just share with us, share away. I'm trying to put this on screen so it looks appealing. Doesn't look very appealing like this, but there we have them in all their glory, envelope books. And I have plenty of other videos on making envelope books. I'm going to link, do I have a playlist? I think I do. I'm going to link it. But I've never done this before, as I've mentioned before. I did see a photo on Pinterest many years ago that I took a screenshot of and liked in my phone, like hearted. And then I keep coming back to it, and I keep thinking, I really want to make this. I really don't know how to make this, so I'm going to have to work it out. And I did. It was very frustrating. And lots of pieces of paper have been kind of destroyed in the making of this video. Unfortunately, they've been harmed, but I shall keep them and do something with them. So sorry, papers, but one must practice before one gets it perfect. All right, I'll stop talking. Please let me know which one of these is your favorite. Any thoughts, anything else you want to share, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.